Hi, this is Farel. Welcome to my video YouTube channel and drawing these Robot Todd pages and watercoloring in them too. This is a page 12 of my upcoming book. Here's the little thumbnails that I do in my sketchbook, and sometimes I actually do little drawings, but lately I just been kind of writing what's going to happen in each panel because I haven't had really like a complicated composition that I've had a problem working out. It's kind of easier just to work them out on the page. And also too, I noticed as I was laying this page out that a lot of these pages are, at some point I started being a little inconsistent accidentally with the sizes, the scale. It's not a significant difference, but enough to irritate me. So after this page, I'm going to make a template, like a standard template that I use every time, which what I should have done at the start, but I figure since I'm only on page 12, it's like halfway through one issue, that it's not a big deal. My throat's a little raw right now. I'm getting over, I guess, kind of like a head cold or something. So yeah, please excuse the extra amount of vocal fry in my voice today. So here I am just roughing in the page. I started with even kind of rougher, just super loose, just sort of a kind of a skeletal, like not even stick figures, but just kind of a vague shape of how I kind of wanted him to stand up. I didn't really use any reference for that because I've run Robot Todd so many times, and I enjoy drawing the figure. Especially like little guys like that. It just kind of comes easier and fun to me. But that fox was a challenge. I've drawn foxes a bunch, but having a fox walking, it's like I can never remember, how do the feet go? Like what foot comes in front first? And like when a person, when they're walking, it's like the opposite arms and legs. But with the little animals, it's it's like if they're running, it's kind of like both feet move forward at the same time, sort of like little jumps. And when the thing's walking, it's a little more confusing to me. So I turned on my old computer that I have at my desk, and it sounds like I'm bragging, like very privileged that I have an old computer, but it's really old. It's really frustrating. It's why I stopped using it. I kind of forget that it's even there, but I was like trying to look at Fox reference on my phone to draw, to get the drawing right, and I figured like, oh, I could just draw it here with the camera off camera, and then color it. And I was like, but when I color it, it's going to be kind of a challenge, probably just watercolor it from memory. And I don't really have any Fox books or anything like that, so I turned on the computer. Took a long time for it to. It's my big head in the way. Sorry about that. But here you can see I'm inking it, adding basically adding a black line around the main character. So I did the fox first because I was looking at that reference when I was penciling it and decided, okay, I'll start with him, then do Robot Todd, which was I guess the more fun part. And he that's just, I don't know, that's just easy, I guess easier for me to draw a figure, especially like like a Robot Todd is just like, I guess, my favorite go-to guy to draw. So there you can see the finished inks, where it's like, okay, I have a black line over all the figures. The background, I'm just going to watercolor. I've stated that in previous videos, where I just want the background to be more painted, so it kind of is a real background instead of just having a black line over everything without any kind of thought put into it. I've been really trying to think of making the characters pop, and I noticed that for years I've just done, inked everything like in a picture and then colored everything, and then now I'm just really trying to pick and choose which areas I use inks in and leave the paint to the rest. I think kind of gives like a nicer, sort of like an older animation look to it. I have a friend that does that really well, and I've noticed other artists do that, and I just kind of like the way that looks. And it's taken me several years, many years, to figure out the process. And this is, specifically for this book too. I'm not saying there's like a right way, like one right way to do anything, but I've for this book in particular, even like with the panel borders, it's I just use a pencil for the panel borders. It's not because like, oh, it's just one less thing I have to think about it, but I just kind of felt like aesthetically, that's sort of the look I was going for with this. And I wanted the lettering, I always do hand lettering, and I wanted the lettering to kind of pop and the characters to pop. And the panel border, it didn't seem like, for this book anyway, it didn't seem necessary. So here I'm, watercoloring everything. I don't know if you noticed, but I started with the fox first. I usually, just to kind of, I guess, I don't know, trick my brain is the right term, but just to sort of, jumpstart me getting, starting to work on each different phase, where it's like, when I ink, it's like, okay, I'll just probably just start with the first panel, but this time I started with the fox 'cause I was just sort of fresh off penciling it, and I kind of wanted to commit to something. So I focused on like, okay, where are the black areas on the fox? And so I started inking those first, and then I got the shape in generally enough to where I'm like, okay, this is kind of annoying to use the pen for all these blacks. So I'll use the watercolor on that. And when I finished inking it, I went right to the fox first with the watercolor, because that's how I usually work with these pages anyway. Sometimes I'll do a wash over the whole thing, but generally I find a thing on the page that I want to color first. So I looked at I was just done drawing the fox, and I had the reference pictures in front of me for the color, and I just went into that first and had that locked down. I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about the fox now. Now I'll do ROBot TOD, and then adding detail. Then I did the background and just went back in and add detail and shadows. And I figure since he was crouched over like that, like hunched over, that would probably be the darkest areas, the shadows underneath him, and dusting himself off. And then once he stands up, there's like a little less shadows, a little more diffused lighting. And yeah, that's sort of the way I guess my brain was working when I was coloring this page. And that's the finish. There you go. It's Todd, after being thrown across the wasteland, stands up, dusts himself off, and then there's this like magic fox guy that just appears in front of him. I have a name for him. I think it's called Wilder, that I wrote down, but I don't know if the name's going to come up anytime soon. But there it is. And oh yeah, I have a Patreon if you want to check that out. Also, I think I might have mentioned this, but all the materials that I've used for this, the pen, Faber-Castell Pitt pen, and the paper and everything, is listed in the description here. So if you want to see all the books I have available for purchase or for borrowing from the library, whatever, they're all listed, and all the materials. And yeah, my Patreon is Farel Dal, and it's $2 a month if you want to subscribe to it and help fund this comic, help make this comic. I'm not getting paid for it, so that's the way to go. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in about a week. Bye.